Yo, what's good everyone? I dropped a couple of Escoffier guides these past few days. I did one where I showcased 12 Escoffier teams and another where I showcased 11 teams with no Furina. Now we're looking at how Escoffier makes Nilou a genuinely solid DPS. I'll do two Abyss runs, one where she's paired with Furina. For the other run I'll use Yelan, and in both runs I'll be using Harbinger of Dawn, which is a 3-star weapon, very free to play friendly. For the first run, Escoffier had a signature weapon. For the second she had Owen Asher, which we all got for free in 5.4. If you don't have it, Favonius Lance is solid too. I just wanted to show Escoffier is good with or without a weapon. So Nilou's kit works like this. You press a skill and now you have two options. Obviously you press a skill 2 more times to turn her into a bloom support, spam her normals instead and turn her into an on-field DPS. In the DPS stance, her normals are converted into a new set of hydro-infused attacks. Prior to Yelan, this DPS role was copium because of a lack of a sustain unit with real synergy. Zhongli gave 20% resistance shred, but Nilou has resistance to interruption in a skill stance anyway, so she doesn't really need a shield. A healer is preferable to counter Furina's bleed. Yelan did that while providing 36% resistance shred to Zhongli's 20, as well as Cinder City 4-piece buffing hydro damage by 40%. So where does Escoffier come in? Well, she's going to shred resistances by 55%. She doesn't buff elemental damage the way Yelan does, but she deals her own damage and a lot of it, so this seems just as viable with lots of benefits to Nilou. Furina also benefits from Escoffier too, while providing us with another source of damage. She also gives HP from her hydro resonance, which Nilou's damage scales off, and she enables Nilou to hold 4-piece Marechaussee Hunter. Bear in mind though, the infused normals count as skill damage, so they don't take advantage of the 2-piece here. The Yelan team used Kazuha, which gave the team 40% shred and around 40% elemental damage. Using Citlali instead gives us 20% hydro shred, 40% elemental damage for both hydro and cryo from 4-piece scroll, as well as 15% team-wide crit rate from the cryo resonance. Her shield also makes it easier to keep Nilou above 90% HP for the Harbinger of Dawn passive. 15% crit rates from the cryo resonance, 36% from Marechaussee, 28% from Harbinger of Dawn, and the 5% that every character has in their base kit means Nilou has 84% crit rate before considering artifact rolls. This means you can stack her HP and crit damage as high as possible. For Harbinger of Dawn, as I just mentioned, you get 28% crit rate when HP is above 90%. Honestly, keeping it above 90% isn't as difficult as you might think. Despite Furina's bleed, you have Citlali's shield in case you take damage, then Escoffier heals so much you bring Nilou right back up to 100%. So, what do I think of this team? To be honest, it's actually decent. Nilou has a little bit of AoE with her attacks, and it's nice to have her on field because I love her sound effects and attack animations. I think there are better teams with Escoffier, obviously, like ones with Neuvillette, but this team genuinely doesn't seem too far off. I cleared all these chambers with plenty of time to spare. Nilou is leaning on the strength of 3 of the best units in the game, but with her not having a good sustain unit until 5.1, and now another in Escoffier, she's one of the biggest beneficiaries of 5.6. This is by far my favourite thing about Escoffier. Cryo's needed a buff for a long time, but the Hydro buff also enables teams like this. I value units a lot for enabling meme teams and experimental playstyles, and I'm looking forward to seeing if Nodcry gives us some more. Not everyone has Furina, or maybe they're using her in a different team, so there is an alternative team with Yelan instead. Because we're losing Furina's bleed, we will need to take Marechaussee off Nilou, but we can replace it with Golden Troop. Her infused normals count as skill damage, so it's a good set for her. With there not being any bleed, it'll be even easier to keep Nilou above 90% HP, and Yelan holding Favonius Warbow reduces Escoffier's energy recharge requirements. This season of the Abyss does have a 75% damage bonus on cryo skill damage, so it will be a little weaker when that's gone. It'll still be strong, but keep that in mind. I have nothing left to say, so I'll let the footage rock. If you haven't already, check out my Escoffier team guides and enjoy the video.